What does it mean to be both queen and captive? Hera, goddess of marriage, sits enthroned beside Zeus, her sovereignty inseparable from her subjugation. She's the divine paradox, a wife who must punish the victims rather than the perpetrator, a queen whose power exists only to preserve the very institution that binds her. Why does mythology, and by extension society, demand that female anger be displaced onto other women rather than directed at the structures that confine them? Consider the fate of Leto, hunted across the earth by Hera's wrath for Zeus's transgression. Or Io, transformed into a cow and tormented by a gadfly for the crime of catching her master's eye. These are not stories of justice, but of enforced complicity. Hera cannot strike Zeus. His power is absolute. So instead she turns her fury on those who have even less agency than herself. What does this reveal about the mechanics of oppression? That those trapped within its hierarchy often become its most vicious enforcers? Hera's mythology is a map of systemic gaslighting. When she protests Zeus's infidelities, she is framed as the shrew, the nag, the irrational force disrupting divine harmony. Her legitimate anger is pathologized, while his betrayals are normalized as the natural order. How many cultures have replicated this exact dynamic, labeling women's resistance as hysteria, while excusing male predation as inevitable? Yet there are cracks in the facade. In the Iliad, Hera seduces Zeus to manipulate the Trojan War, a rare moment where she wields the tools of her confinement as weapons. But even this victory is Pyrrhic. She must weaponize her own body to gain temporary advantage. Is this not the ultimate indictment of patriarchal bargaining? That the oppressed must use the master's tools, knowing they can never dismantle the master's house? The most telling myth may be Heracles, named Hera's glory despite being Zeus's bastard, whom she persecutes from cradle to pyre. Here the cycle completes itself. The queen without recourse becomes the tyrant without mercy. What does this say about the corruption of powerlessness? That when agency is denied its proper outlet, it twists into something monstrous? We still live in Hera's world, a world where women in positions of authority are often tasked with upholding systems that harmed them, where female anger is celebrated only when directed at the right targets, where marriage remains for many both a crown and a cage. The question is not why Hera was vengeful, but why we expect goddesses or women to be anything else under such conditions. To study Hera is to study the anatomy of complicity and the terrible price of a survival within unjust systems.